Alright guys, welcome back to the channel. It's good to be here with you guys again and share some information. I've been wanting to do something for quite a while and I'm going to get to share it with you real quick. And hopefully this video won't take too long. I always take longer than I expect to. I always take longer than I want to because I get kind of excited about these kind of comparisons. But for a long time, I've had two of these guns for a while, for several years, and I've had two of the other guns for a few months. We've got hundreds of rounds through each of these guns. Let's say at least 250 rounds up to 1,500 to 2,000 rounds through some of these guns. But I've got enough to give you a feel for it. I wanted to do this for a while. Like I said, these guns are all in the same, pretty close to the same weight slash size category, somewhere in between a Glock 19 and a Glock 17, let's say. That's what all these guns in their size configuration is within those boundaries. Okay guys, so I wanted to share that with you. And the weights are very, very close. This is an aluminum frame 2011 too. So yeah, all the weights on these are very, very close. And there's a few fluctuations in weight because of the lights I'm using and stuff like that. But I do want to kind of share with you kind of my thoughts on each gun. I kind of wish I could have done it with all the lights off. I actually just put this light back on. I didn't have it on when I shot it. But I don't think the lights make that big of a difference. These lights are just a couple ounces and this one's about 5 ounces. So this one may have had the biggest contributor in helping this gun, but I will say I'll share with you some details on that in a minute. However, you'll see in the video I'm fixing to show you that I wanted to take these out and shoot 2 shots through each. These are all in the carry size range and they're all customized. They've all got a little bit of money and time and customization work that I've done to them to make them the best platform I think that they can be. You know, there might be prettier guns out there in the way they're Cerakoted or whatever, and the way they look and the way they're cut, the slide cuts. But as far as performance, I think these have got about the most you can do to upgrade the performance on these particular platforms without adding much size and weight to the gun. So they might not be the prettiest guns out there, which I think they're good looking guns for sure, but they may not be the prettiest versions of these guns, but these are performance wise decked out. Okay, these are decked out performance wise. So as you see by the footage, and I'll put it in the end of the film, I may put it while I'm filming this, the Archon is the first gun that I shot. And I will say, and it may have a little bit to do with this, but I know it don't, because I know it don't completely have a lot to do with this, because I have shot this without the light quite a bit, even when it's been ported. So I kind of do have a feel for it, but just shooting it again, like I said, we shot 2 shots through this one, 2 shots through that one, 2 shots, right in a row on the video. You get to see it. And I've never done this before, and I wanted to get a feel for which gun performed, felt, how they felt, kind of, and rate them, so that you guys, if you're looking to certain platforms like these are all popular platforms. I mean, we're covering a Glock clone, which is very much like a Glock 17, so you can get a Glock 17 or a 19 or a 19X to feel very much like this gun. So that kind of covers that Glock and Glock clone area. This covers the lightweight performance 2011s that you can conceal carry, so we got that covered. You've got a CZ P10C, which is a direct competition with, say, the Glock 19, the Glock 17. This P10C is very much a competitor to those two guns. And then we've got an Archon that's kind of more unique, a little bit different in the way the action works, the lockup system works, but it's more like a high-end competitor to the CZ or the Glock. Okay, so we're covering a lot of bases here. I can't show you much more than this as far as conceal carryable guns. I've got more performance guns, but I wanted to keep this conceal carry size. And I didn't want to go for small micro guns because I don't have many of those anymore. I've had plenty in the past. I've sold some of those guns. I've got to where I pretty much like carrying this mid-size guns better. So I usually don't keep the micro guns very often, or a lot of them. And I've kind of went through those in the past. But I want to share with you kind of what's better. And let's get on with that. So we started with the Archon, and I will say, like I said, the light may have helped a little bit, but this is the flattest shooting gun on the table, and you'll see that in the footage. It just shoots super flat, and it's extremely soft as well, and the stippling on the gun makes it stick to your hand. It's just great. We took a lot of work. It took a lot of work, and kind of customization to get this where I wanted it. Go watch my other videos on this gun if you want to see what all we did to kind of get it where it needed to be for me to like it as much as I do now. And I'm still getting used to it. There's a lot of thoughts on that, but we won't go into that. But as far as flatness and softness of the recoil, this one I think takes the cake. Okay guys, this is just the best one of the bunch on the table. And it being right in the middle price-wise, but we'll get into that in a minute. So this is the softest and the flattest. And I would say that ergonomically, this is probably, it's hard to say, I'll probably give it second place now that we've done some work to it in ergonomics, or tied for second place. What's funny, ergonomics wise, I would say about all three of these are tied. And I have to say I give the win to this one, but we're going to do that in a minute. So price wise, this is in the middle. Ergonomics, it's pretty much tied with these three. And flatness and softness, I give the win to this one. This one, as far as flatness and softness on the recoil, I will say that when I was doing the video, I was not gripping these near as tight as I would in a competition. I wanted to really feel the recoil. I wanted to see what the gun did in a very natural, softly gripped kind of configuration. So I didn't want to grip the guns real tight, and I didn't do that with any of them because I wanted you to see on video kind of how they acted very naturally, and not with me just grabbing the gun so tight that you couldn't see what the gun was doing. So the gun was not gripped real hard. I may get comments on that. Sorry guys, that's what I wanted to do. That was my test, is to grip the gun kind of softly. You're not try to grip it as hard as it could to make it look good on video. I have videos where I'm gripping the gun tight and this gun shoots super flat, and this gun shoots super flat, and all four of these will shoot flat if you're grabbing the gun as tight as you can. They shoot without hardly any muzzle rise. But these two, I would say, are tied for muzzle flip and softness. They are extremely close, and I think it's because they're sort of similarly configured. You know, you've got a littler comp on this one and a big comp on this one, and you got ports on this one and no ports on this one. So the bigger comp kind of averages out for this port comp configuration. So these are tied, I would say, for third place in the muzzle flip and softness category. Ergonomics, all three of these guns are pretty much tied. They're different, but they're all good, and I can't really say that one's better than the other ergonomically. Like I said, this is the cheapest by far, so the fact that this one can compete with all these and just be in the same space at $600, and this one being around $900 in it, this one around $600, this is $1,800, and this probably got about $1,000 in it, but you could do this same configuration cheaper if you wanted to, especially nowadays because these have went down in price the past few years. So yeah, this one being the cheapest, the fact that it's as soft as this one, and I give it tied for third place as far as muzzle flip and softness. You'll see when I first shot this the first time, I was kind of gripping it looser than probably any of the guns, so it did have a little bit of muzzle flip on the video in my first shot, and it was just because when I gripped it, I really kind of shot it before I really got a good purchase on the gun, and that's kind of my fault. So don't judge just by the video, but I'm just showing you that I'm proving that I did shoot them and I know how they feel. And like I said, they're all flat, but these are tied for third place in softness, and all three of these are tied for ergonomics, and this is the cheapest gun on the table. This one, man, it's just awesome. I mean, by far, this is probably the coolest gun on the table just because it's a 2011. I mean, it's hard to beat. And I will say, and I need to probably rate this as well, by shooting these, I can rate this as well. What trigger is the best, you're going to ask. And of course, we're going to say trigger, the best trigger on the table is this one. And then if we had to give a second place trigger, I would say the P10C's got the second place best trigger. And this is third slightly. These are about tied. And that's hard for me to say because this is a Glock trigger pretty much, but it's just gotten a lot better since I've kind of broken in, and I'm starting to really enjoy this trigger. And this is just not the greatest trigger. People say it's one of the best striker fire triggers. Don't be deceived. I've done work to it. It's a lot better than it was out of the box, but it's still on par with the Glock. It's not much better than any kind of cheap performance Glock trigger. Okay guys, it might be slightly better than the stock Glock, but it's not no better than a cheap performance trigger in the Glock. just so you know, guys. So I would say these are kind of tied for third in the trigger. P10's got second, and the 2011 or Bul double stack 1911 is the first place winner in the trigger department. But yeah, guys, what an awesome gun. I do need to carry this to IDPA and shoot it soon, because I think I could do really good with it in this configuration. And I have shot it in IDPA, but I have not shot it in this configuration, so I want to do that soon. Alright, so what have we not covered? Like I said, these are tied in ergonomics, and this is the most expensive. What else? The P10C, let's get to it. This, I would say, is second place as far as softness and muzzle flip. The aggressive porting on this gun, and where the ports are, there's something about it. It just shoots flatter and softer than these two. This one shoots flatter and softer than these two. This one shoots slightly softer and flatter than the P10. So this is second place ergonomics wise. And it's hard for me not to be partial, because I've done a lot of work over the years to this gun, just a little bit at a time. I've done a lot more work to these two guns recently, and I spent a lot more time on them in that short period of time than I did on any of these guns, but I've slowly upgraded this one over the years, so I'm kind of partial to it. But I have to say, ergonomics wise, this one wins first place. Its ergos are just super awesome. The grip in my hand, being a smaller to medium hand, probably more in the small range for most guys, the ergonomics on this is fantastic. It's just awesome. Trigger second place, like I said, in the trigger department, and second place in muzzle flip and softness of the gun. All right, guys, what else do we need to cover? Well, I guess we pretty much covered everything we want to do. We want to show you the footage. I'll probably show you the footage during me talking in this video, and I'll also show you at the end of the video the footage as well. But like I said, don't judge how flat they looked on video. I was really just trying to get the feel with a very loose, natural grip that most shooters would have, and not really grip as tightly as I could, and really try to look flat on camera. And so that way it gave me more input. The gun was giving me more input so that I can make notes in my head of what felt like what. And if I gripped it real tight, it would be kind of hard to tell the difference between the pistols. So I didn't really grip none of these tight when I shot it on video. So don't be negative on that part. But God bless. Have a great day. If you have any comments, there's probably things I did not cover, even though this was 14 minutes long. There's probably things that I did not cover in this video. Please ask me, and I will let you know. Like I said, I've been wanting to take these out and shoot them all back to back to back. And that was a perfect test to kind of give me some information to think on, and maybe decide which one do I want to really focus on shooting more often and kind of get good at, because I really don't have a huge preference or tons of time behind any of these guns at one given time for a long period of time. So I really would like to start focusing more on one weapon system and kind of getting really good with that weapon system. And this has given me a lot to think about, and I hope it gives you a lot to think about, and maybe this will guide you a direction of some kind if you're wanting to do a project where you're kind of maxing the performance out of a concealed carry Glock 19-ish size gun, and you're wanting to just make it perform at its highest level. This video will help, I hope. God bless. Have a great day. Please like and subscribe. Please leave comments below, and I would love to answer your questions. Have a good day.